And so, but you have to say, man, I don't believe in that whole stars aligning thing with Julius Caesar. Why would I believe it with Jesus? And some of the people at your kitchen table, some of the people at your family's gathering, some of the people at work, some of the people that you're going to have conversations with believe and have those kinds of questions. And you have to be honest about it. Okay? And so I want you to understand that this passage of Scripture that we're going to look at this morning is very critical. And so if you're the person that says, you know what, I'm an American, and my mom and her mom before her, we went to Mass, and they always believed in Jesus and the Nativity and Jesus' birth and stuff, and so I'm cool. I'm an American. I mean, I'm a good kind of guy, and so I'm not going to stir any waves. And yes, I have questions about it. And yes, I wonder if sometimes if it's a myth. And yes, I can just kind of go along with it. I can go along with Santa Claus and Jesus, and we're going to have a good time and listen to the Christmas music and share goodwill and share niceties. And you say, I'm cool with that. Well, I'm telling you, for those kinds of people who you're around, or maybe you're that type of person, this morning, this passage of Scripture is a critically important passage of Scripture. And it's a passage of Scripture that you probably never memorized. It's a passage of Scripture that's not famous. It's a passage of Scripture, however, that has huge ramifications over how people view Jesus and huge ramifications about how they view Christmas. And this might be just the passage of Scripture that changes your mind, or this might be just the passage of Scripture that changes your family members' minds, that sees, that clears up some of the myths that you have believed, some of the falsities that you have believed about the truthfulness of the Christmas story. Because if we're not clear on this, we will think it's just a story. We will think it's just a myth. We will think it's just something nice that we kind of rally around and rehearse around Christmas. But that's not it. There's much more to it, and I want to share that with you. And see, the traditional Christmas story happens in the book of Luke. And if you have a Bible, go ahead and open it up to Luke 1. We're going to look at the first 4 verses. And the traditional Christmas story in Luke 1, Luke's story, you have to understand it's in a book. And it's really not a book. It's really actually a part of a book called the Bible, right? And that we call it a gospel, Luke's gospel. It's really not a gospel. It's really a document that was written down on parchment. And what happened is later on, Luke's story, Luke's written story here of how he views Jesus was taken and gathered with all the other books and put into the Bible.